Hello everyone, I'm going to walk through completing the network lab assignment for this week. And so this is not going to hit every single requirement that you need to achieve for this assignment, but still give you a little bit of background so that you're not stuck if you're completely new to this. To start, you will need a computer with internet access and access to either command prompt in Windows or terminal in Mac or Linux. And so I'm going to start up my terminal. And so I'm on Mac. And so the way I open applications is by using command space. And that brings up the spotlight where I can just type in terminal to open it up. You can also go into Finder and applications and find terminal that way. Maybe thought it would be in here. Anyway, so I guess you will have to use the command space and then terminal. There we go. So this is how I can talk to my computer without needing a mouse. And so this is a way to talk using the bash language with the computer and then also being able to call any native commands that are on the operating system. So let's start with the first requirement, discovering your IP address. So open terminal and then type ipconfig if you're on Windows or ifconfig if you're on Mac. Press enter. ifconfig. If none of this makes sense to you, you will have to go back and review the videos through LinkedIn Learning that are attached to this week's lesson, and that'll give you a good broad overview of what we're trying to accomplish here and the different pieces that fit into networking. So I'm going to press enter, and this gives me information about various devices that are on my network. So these could be printers, Raspberry Pis, phones, various other devices. And so we're trying to find our IP address, I believe. So it says identify and note down your IP address. And so one way to find your IP address within here is to do a search for. So for search, I did Command F. You can also manually look for it in here, but you'll see that all the IPs start with an INET. So you'll see INET 6 here, INET 6 here. But ours is going to be the only one that shows up as INET, which is the IPv4 IP address for my machine. And so 192.168.86.193 is my IP address for my computer. And that's the only one that shows up as INET here. All the other ones show up as INET 6. So what is my IP address? It's 192.168.86.193. And then it asks for the difference between IPv4 and IPv6 in a few sentences. And so my INET 6 or IPv6 address is this longer one over here. And so for this assignment, you get to provide these two IP addresses and then also research why they're different, what the need for an IPv6 address was. The next question is to ping a server. So we'll open terminal again and ping google.com. Looks like this method is the same whether you're on Windows or Mac. I'll ping. And so what this is doing is it's sending 64 bytes from my computer to Google and then seeing if it hears back a response. And so we did that. Observe and screenshot. So you'll screenshot the output. I'm going to manually terminate this. And you can see that 21 packets were sent out to Google and we got 21 responses with no packet loss. So sounds like there's good communication going on between the two servers. Both servers are very active and there's no information being lost in the middle. So you get to answer what the ping command does and why it's useful. Next is trace route. So we'll do trace cert wikipedia.org in Windows or traceroute, wikipedia.org for Mac. I'm going to copy this, paste it in my terminal, analyze and screenshot. So, we want the screenshot of your output, but we also want you to think about what is happening on each line here. Just to give you a broad overview, traceroute is used to map the journey of packets from my computer to the destination computer, destination server. So in this case, it's Wikipedia's server. And this is just mapping out the journey. And so at step 1, it looks like it started from my computer. This is my IP address. And then the star, star, star. Actually, I'll let you figure that out. So you need to answer what it means when we see the 3 asterisks or stars. And then eventually it looks like it gets to my googlefiber.net. So that's my router. And so it's made its way hopping from my computer to the router. And then it'll eventually leave the router and find the next node. The internet is just a group of nodes or servers or computers hooked up, connected to each other. And so my router can't, or my packet that's being sent out from my house can't just directly go to the Wikipedia server. It has to bounce through a whole bunch of servers. And so this is that journey. All right, I'm going to manually terminate this, but you're welcome for this assignment to see the whole journey and talk about what happens. So describe the journey your request took to reach the server and why there are several steps. Next up is HTTP requests. So open your web browser. My Chrome is already open. Press F12 to open developer tools. I like to just right click and click inspect. And here you go. So the developer tools are right here. Next it says go to the network tab and reload a web page of your choice. So let's go to waketech.edu, network tab. Let me actually refresh. There you go. You can see our browser is communicating with the WakeTech server and it's getting a whole bunch of things. So we put WakeTech in the URL, press enter, and now we fetched the web page, which means we got a whole bunch of stuff from the WakeTech server, images, JavaScript styles, all kinds of different things. And so what we need to do for this question is to identify an HTTP GET request and its purpose. Okay, so you get to explain why we use HTTP GET requests, but I'll show you how to identify it here. And so you can see here that there's all kinds of things that we got. If we filter on this using method, and so there's different types of web requests. There's post, there's get. We're interested in get. Here we go. And so these are all the get requests here. And you can actually view it by clicking on it. And you can tell right here that we put in a get request to this URL to get the image, right? The career services web slider PNG image. So, yep, that is oh, and that's the image we got when we submitted a GET request to that URL. So that's that question right there. You get to answer it. And then lastly, I'm not going to do this myself. You can look it up. But this is creating a simple network diagram. And so if you've studied the videos, then you'll know that the network comprises of a bunch of computers connected together. So you get to explain that relationship of a client, a server, a router, and how they're all connected. You'll get to label the client, server, router, and explain what to do in a network. And that's it. That is the assignment for this week. Feel free to collaborate with each other if you get stuck, but it seems pretty straightforward if you've reviewed all the videos. All right, bye.